So let's start here. So what I'm doing right here is I made myself a slab so that I can attach a pipe bending machine. And this is the pipe bending machine that's going to be mounted onto that slab. And I needed to have this bolted down to the ground, so when I'm bending these 24-foot long pipes, the machine doesn't rock to the side, which is what it was doing when I was trying to bend this pipe here in this ground. So that didn't work for me. And the reason I'm bending these pipes is these are what I'm going to be using to hold down my airforms for my 8-footer, 9-footer, 20, 22, 30, and 32 size diameter airforms that I have. This is going to be what's used to hold the fabric down to the ground while it's inflated with air. So anyway, that's what this is, and that first slab is to mount this system. So let me show you what's going on with the Aircrete shed. So here's the Aircrete shed I've been working on. I had some delays because I had other projects to do and take care of. But originally, when I was designing this, it was to build it only using 4 of these panels, 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside. And I was using this foam as a sealant. You can see it's under the board here, and it worked great there. But on the inside of the in between the panel and the stud, the material just blew out. It wasn't strong enough to keep all the aircrete inside, and so it leaked out. So I stopped immediately. I was pouring from the top. You can see I have some hose here that I made to pour the aircrete into these cavities here. And so I stopped what I was doing and decided it'll be easiest to just put panels up on the outside and the inside all the way around. So I have all the outside panels and some of the inside ones. I just have to finish, like here I have to cut a panel to fit into that slot. But once all the panels are up, which should be this week, I'm going to finish working on this. I'll be able to finish pouring all the walls, filling all of these cavities with aircrete. And I still have some adjustments to do here with the size of the door that I want to have. I'm thinking 36 or 32 inches wide. This room will be a laundry room. I'll have the washer and dryer in here. Who knows, I might do something else with it also. Maybe a little storage space. But I really love this method of first assembling or building the steel stud assembly. And this basically took a day to do. And it's really strong because I have 2 studs side by side making an I-beam. And this was important because I wanted these channels here to help lock in the aircrete that was in there. And also the rebar that's been placed in here is also going to help with that as well. So anyway, this project is, I'm going to continue working on it this week. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be done this week with all the walls. And then afterwards, I'll be working on the ceiling on the roof. And the idea for that is I'll add another 2 feet of the studs, steel studs going up 2 more feet here, and I'll have a slanted roof on top. It'll be aircrete with the metal roof sheets on top. So that's the Aircrete shed. For all of you who keep saying that I'm leaving Aircrete, it's not true. I still love Aircrete, and I still have many things I'm doing with it. I'm not going to be using Aircrete for everything. But In this shed I will be, because we have an Aircrete slab, which once the walls are all done, I'll be putting a hard coat on there so that it doesn't break up and turn into dust. And here's a sample of Aircrete that I made that I want to do my comparison test to Epic with the hammer and shooting it. So that's coming maybe later this week. That's a little fun thing to do. And I still have to work on the septic. And if I just heard that they have tanks that are shallow, like they're 4 feet high and 12 feet long. So I have to look into that. If anyone knows about these shallow septic tanks, please leave a comment and maybe a link to someplace. Because right now what I have here is about 3 feet of soil, and then I just have hard rock, and my soil gets shallower and shallower as I go out. This was supposed to be for an infiltrator, but I may have to change the design and location. So I have to see, but I just heard about these shallow septic tanks. They're 4 feet tall and 12 feet long or something like that. So anyway, I don't know much about them, but that's what's going on here. Let me take you to the next thing that's going on. So this is the other project that's going to be happening. I just yesterday, Monday, built this 10-foot diameter slab. This is concrete slab, and this is going to be for my 8-foot diameter Aircrete dome. And I did a small Aircrete dome back in New York, and I was testing my whole theory out. It worked. I did have some issues, but I learned from them. And so this is going to be, the idea is a 1-day monolithic Aircrete pour. So I have my 8-foot and 9-foot airforms that I'll be bolting both of them down at the same time, inflating them, and filling the 6-inch cavity with Aircrete. So I'm not out of Aircrete, people. Just because I'm messing around with Epic doesn't mean I gave up on Aircrete. Look at that view. So cool. And anyway, so this slab I just did yesterday. And maybe this weekend, I'll be pouring the Aircrete pour, 8-foot dome. And anyway, I'm looking forward to that. So let me show you my airforms real quick. Here are my 2 airforms. It's hard to see, they're all folded. But this is my 8-footer. And then under it is the 9-footer. And here are the other airforms for building the larger domes, the 20-foot dome and the 30-foot dome. These are the airforms for that. So anyway, this is coming soon. It's going to be really cool because, in my opinion, it's really the best way to build an Aircrete dome, because it's monolithic. I'm not messing around with making bricks first. I could just make the Aircrete mix and pump it in. And I have 2 pumps I could use. I have a diaphragm pump and another pump, peristaltic pump. I always forget how it's pronounced. But anyway, what I didn't have back in New York was a pump. I made my own air pressure pump, which would have worked if it was made of steel, but it was made of plastic 50-gallon drum, and it basically blew up. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get that on video because that would have gone viral. But anyway, that's what's going on with my Aircrete projects. I got the shed that I just showed you, and I have this Aircrete dome I'll be building soon. Monolithic pour. This dome will be built in 1 day. That's the plan. And if that works as well as I believe it's going to work, the size could be changed to a larger dome. Anyway, on to the Epic. So here are some Epic samples that I've been experimenting with. These 2 samples here are actually going to be going out pretty soon for a compression test. One was made with the Epic system. The other was made using perlite instead of styrofoam. And so anyway, these samples, they're going to be going out for a compression test. and we'll see how strong they are compression wise. But I know these are going to be very strong because this is the oak mix. When it comes to the Epic, there are 4 blends. There's the oak, the yellow pine, the pine, and the balsa. Balsa being the lightest, most insulative of the 4. And there is a process into which to make it. And that stuff I'll be going over with people probably within another month or so. We'll be talking more about how to make it and the recipe to make it. So I wouldn't go jumping to experimenting on your own right now. You can if you want, but the mad scientist who introduced me to this was working on the recipes for over 10 years. And that's why he's got them down packed. And no reason to reinvent the wheel. Someone's already been working on it for a long time. And we will be sharing that in the future with everyone. So here's perlite. This is what I used for customizing the Epic mix. Instead of using styrofoam, I got this perlite. It's very light and insulative. And it was a lot easier for me to get this instead of breaking up the foam. But I also want to share my prototype foam shredder. So this was just a prototype. I was testing the idea out. I have another one that I'll show you that I'm in the process of making now, but I'll just explain how this one works because the new one will just be much larger. The only thing be different is this tube and how it's made. But the idea behind this shredder was you'd close that up, right? That was taped. And, this was it took me like a half an hour to put this together. I put my screws in here and put the drill on this end to spin it. And I put foam in there and it shredded up pretty good. I mean, you can see some of the shreddings because you want to get your styrofoam back down to beads. It's very important for the matrix of the design. You don't want to have chunks, big foam chunks. So what I did was I made this box, and an improved version that I'll be sharing, and I'll have a PDF on how to build it yourself and where to get the parts. But so from here I have this hose which is going into this blower. So it's sucking the foam out that's been shredded, sucks out into this hose, goes through the blower, out this hose, and it goes into this bag, which is actually a tent. And the reason for the tent, and you can see the styrofoam in there, is because of this netting here, which will allow the air to escape. So you want to capture your foam beads, your styrofoam beads, and let the air out. Otherwise, it's not going to work as efficient. So this is my little foam shredder that I've made, and I'm now going to supersize it. I'll show you some of the parts for that. Here's some of the parts that I got to make my super shredder. I got this gas motor here. Picked it up at Harbor Freight. And I wouldn't go running out to do what I'm doing just yet. Just let me build this first. Get everything working. And I'll share everything. It's pretty simple design. But I would let me finish first before you go running out to do the same. But anyway, that's the basic idea. Is I have a little pulley. I'll be making a box. This is my shaft that I have some end caps on here. And I don't know how many screws are going to be sticking up. Probably a few hundred. And it's going to be rip-roaring shredder. So anyway, that's the shredder. But there's something else I want to share about Epic with you. And I'll take you right now to do that. So the great thing about the Epic mix is it's about the same cost as Aircrete to make. And the reason is because the 2 other ingredients besides the cement that you have to pay for you can acquire for free, or if you do have to buy them, you can buy them really inexpensively. So when I say free, this is my styrofoam collection that I've been collecting for a few weeks now. And there's a lot of styrofoam here. Here, some of it blew off. Some of these bags, this is a 4-foot bag. Let's see. But I have some 6-footers in there and a bunch of boxes. Here's the view from the top here. And there is a lot of foam there. And that's because I plan to build a dome using just the Epic system as well. So if you're interested in the Epic mix and the recipe and the how-to, one of the main ingredients you're going to need is styrofoam. And you can just start collecting your styrofoam now. Don't throw it out. You can make yourself a styrofoam collection bin and put it in your local town. You can speak to some recycling facilities. A lot of them do not accept styrofoam for whatever reason. Probably because they can't recycle it. They don't use it. And you can talk to them about accepting it and just start building up your collection. So this is why I'm making the gas-powered foam shredder, so I can start shredding this up quickly and efficiently. There are other methods. If you have yourself a hammer mill, which I do not, they're relatively expensive. What I'm building didn't cost that much. Probably the engine is the most expensive thing. It was like $100 or $120 for the engine. Everything else was pretty inexpensive. Again, don't go building yours yet. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but you know, I can't control you. If you feel like doing it, go ahead. But I would wait for me to do it first. And that's really what I want to do. I want to prove the whole system to myself because I've been introduced to it. I've made a few samples. I'm extremely impressed with it. I believe everything the mad scientist has told me about it, and it's got some really incredible properties. So anyway, back to the Epic. Styrofoam is one of the main ingredients. The other is paper. Paper, the best paper is like newspaper. There, you know, you have printer paper, newspaper, cardboard. There's all kinds, but the newspaper is the best one for the Epic mix. And I'll give you an example. The local recycling plant by me sells, I think it's like a 6,000 pound bundle for like $60, I think, something like that. So, and they have all the papers separated in categories, like I just said: cardboard, printer paper that you would have for your printer, scrap papers, newspapers, magazine papers. They're all separated. You don't want to use magazine papers. Newspapers is the type. So if you have a ton of newspapers already, that's great. And again, there is a process. I'll show you another option for paper that I used myself. This green fiber, this is insulation that's usually like blown into attics. And this is already paper that's been shredded. So I got this bag to do my test samples. You can see I have some basalt mesh and this roofing fabric that the guy recommended there. And some 6mm plastic that I'll be using all these things in my construction. Well, here's basalt fabric. That's basalt mesh, and this is basalt fabric. Anyway, so that's the paper. If you're gonna buy, you could use that. It's but then you're spending money. So the idea here is to build inexpensively and save as much as you can. And paper is recycled. The styrofoam, you can start your own recycling and start getting your ingredients together. So when the Epic mix and recipe is released, you'll be ahead of the game, because I've been collecting my styrofoam for quite some time now. Now the Epic mix, you can mix yourself by hand, you know, using a hand mixer, a cement mixer, mortar mixer, and you could do it by the bucket, a bucket at a time, and lay it up. Personally, I invested in this machine just for Epic, because this is one of the best machines for doing, or rather mixing, large batches of Epic for building, you know, a large dome. So again, you can do it by hand. It'll obviously take much longer, but this is a hydro mulcher. You can see it's used for spreading seed for grass, or I don't even know what else they really use this machine, what it was made for. But because this machine has a gear pump, it turns out this is one of the best pumps to use for the Epic mix, because of the styrofoam will block up a lot of other pumps. And so there are two gears in here, and the material flows around those gears, you know, like the gears will have the material in between the teeth, and it will pump it, pumps out, and it'll come out of the hose here. And I'll show you the inside. It's just a big mixer, and so it's also a 550 gallon capacity, and that's why I got this machine, for making Epic mixes for myself and for others who may want to have an Epic structure built. I actually just spoke to the local building engineer out here, and I showed them the samples of Epic I made and told him, you know, I'm looking to build like a 12-inch thick walls, and he was all for it. He was like, yeah, that stuff is strong, it's insulative, can't see a reason why not. So I know if anyone else out there made their own Epic mixes and you live in an area where you need to get approved to build, ideally at the areas where you don't need any approval, because then you can just build what you want and be happy. But if you do, you have a good chance of getting past, you know, by showing the engineer or the building department people, you know, the Epic samples and what you're looking to do. So anyway, that's just a quick update. I know it's been 22 minutes already, but that's what's going on. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to get this ready, and soon I'll have a backhoe machine to start digging my foundations, so that I can start building my 20 and 30 foot domes. And so that's coming real soon. And another thing about that is I decided to create another channel for my dome home, because my wife and I are really living off grid. So just today I started a new channel called Off Grid Dome Living, and in there I'll be showing everything else that doesn't contain to Aircrete. All my Aircrete experiments, my Epic comparison to Aircrete, I'll still be doing on these channels, and all of my future builds. Like I have my own rocket stove design that I designed it in CAD, you know, last year sometime, and I'm looking to have that built before the winter. And so it's a really cool design, and I have some secret ingredients I'm not going to let out just now, but it's going to improve the efficiency of the rocket stove tremendously. It's going to be a rocket stove mass heater. And so that's coming really soon, because like I said, I want to have that ready for winter time, because that's going to be my main heating source, besides a propane heater, because I've been living in this motorhome, and it's the first time I ever lived in a motorhome, and it's been pretty cool, and the propane heater on there works tremendously. So I like to incorporate that same type of heater system in the house, but I want to have a rocket stove as the main heating system, the rocket stove mass heater. So anyway, if you don't mind, if you would please like and subscribe to this video, as well as the link I'm going to provide for Off Grid Dome Living. That's where I'll be showing the entire construction of the dome. I'll be talking more about my solar system. I just recently set up the whole iron Edison battery system to the inverter and all that. And next is going to be my solar panels. I have my own sun tracking system that, I found a bunch of different YouTube videos, and so I'm building my own. And so that's going to be real exciting, and we're going to be showing all of that stuff on the new YouTube channel called Off-Grid Dome Living. I just created it. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. And everyone out there who's been emailing me questions about the Epic, it's going to come soon. Let me work out the little details, and this way it's going to save you money, because I'm doing it now because I'm ready to build now, and I know a lot of you are also. But anyway, that's what's going on, people. Listen, I love you all. Peace out, and I'll catch you later.